Here's the uncomfortable truth. Some of the most popular leadership advice out there is actually making you a worse leader. Not because you're bad at leadership, but because these rules were never meant to be followed literally. So, in this video, I'm going to break down 9 leadership rules you've definitely heard before, and I'll show you why they're dead wrong and what to do instead. Hi, I'm Gaurav Jain. I've spent over 20 years in corporate roles and more than 15 years leading teams. I'm the author of the Leader's Playbook, and I distill leadership frameworks for thousands of managers at The Good Boss. Let's get into rule number 1. The first rule is deeply baked into corporate culture, and I'm sure you've heard it many times. The customer is always right. Granted, on the surface, it sounds obviously correct, right? But when you take this literally, here's what happens. You override your team to appease a loud customer. You reward bad behavior, and you trade long-term trust for short-term relief. So what's the reframe? Prioritize customers, but don't worship them. Your job as a manager is to do what's right for the business and to protect your team. All right, let's move on because this next one shows up a lot in fast-moving companies. Rule number 2 is move fast and break things. Yes, of course, speed matters. No question there. But speed without clarity is not speed, it's chaos. And this is what chaos looks like on the ground. Teams are running around in different directions, there's a ton of rework, and activity becomes mistaken for progress. So what's the reframe here? Clarity first, speed second. Remember that fast in the wrong direction is still failure. Now, this next one sounds noble and the intent behind it is actually quite good. Rule number 3 is leaders eat last. This idea was popularized by Simon Sinek, and the spirit behind it makes a lot of sense. Serve your team, share the credit, don't make it about yourself. Yes, that sounds noble indeed. But here's where leaders go wrong. They turn service into martyrdom. They skip the breaks, they avoid the recognition, and they burn out slowly. So here's what you should do. You don't need to eat first, but you do need to eat. Sustainable leadership starts with taking care of yourself. Closely related to that is another rule that quietly destroys teams. Rule number 4 is give 100% all the time. I even hear people say 110% or 200%. Consider this. If 100% is the baseline, then rest will look like weakness. Asking for help will feel unsafe, and burnout will become normal. And whether you realize it or not, your team will copy you. So what should you do? You should model sustainable performance. And I get it, there are sprint moments in leadership. But remember that leadership itself is a marathon. Quick pause here. If you like practical leadership ideas like this, I share one every week in my newsletter, The Good Boss. I focus on practical insights for modern leaders just like you. So feel free to check it out using the link in the description below. Now let's talk about a rule that's well-intentioned but badly misunderstood. Rule number 5 is never play favorites. Now, many managers interpret this as treat everyone the same. Same attention, same feedback, same expectations. And that's exactly where this rule falls apart. Because people aren't the same. What you should do instead is to be fair, not equal. Support the people based on what they need, not what looks evenly distributed. This next one is about distance, and it's a big reason that teams disengage. Rule number 6 is don't get too close to your team. When leaders follow this, they become distant, cold, and transactional. And when you do that, you might get compliance, but I guarantee you, you will never get commitment. So what should you do? You should be professional and remain human. People don't work harder for titles. They work harder for people they trust. All right, this next one sounds positive, but it does real damage. Rule number 7, always be positive. Now you might be thinking, how could that be wrong? Here's the problem. When everything is great, real hard conversations lose their weight. The problems that your team has, they go underground. The feedback dries up and culture quietly turns toxic. I call it toxic positivity, and I also wrote about some telltale signs of this culture in my newsletter. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to check it out. So what's the reframe for this rule? Be optimistic, but stay grounded in the reality. Acknowledge when things are hard, and then lean forward. Now let me address a myth that creates enormous pressure for leaders. Rule number 8 is good leaders never doubt themselves. And the reality is, leadership is full of uncertainty. If you never doubt yourself, that's not confidence, that's blindness. And here's the reframe for this rule. Normalize the doubt, ask for input, and learn out loud. Real confidence is moving forward with uncertainty. And finally, this last one shows up a lot in high growth and startup environments. Rule number 9 is to reward results, not effort. This sounds efficient and smart, right? But in reality, it kills experimentation. If only outcomes matter, then your team will start avoiding smart risks. They will stop learning and their work will become performative. What I suggest is this: reward thoughtful effort and learning, not just the wins. That's how real progress actually happens. With all these 9 rules under your belt, here's the real takeaway: leadership is not about blindly following rules. Ultimately, it's about thinking critically and leading real humans. The most dangerous leadership advice is the advice that sounds good but goes unquestioned. At the end of the day, leadership is not just about knowing, it's about practicing and applying in real situations. If this video helped you rethink even one belief about leadership, give it a like and subscribe to The Good Boss for more content like this. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.